I hope you can we hear me? Can we hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, we
Okay.
can.
Thank you. My okay. I thought I was off. Now, having said that, so we look at so once we have our recruitment policy in place, the next thing I needed to take it live. I don't know, something was wrong with our the recording. And I do not want a situation where anybody should have access to the and look at this watch this video again. So I put it live on YouTube so that we can have it there. Then if you want to watch, we don't have recording for this. I don't know what is happening. Okay, now having said that, we now look at our recruitment. And once you get that policy on ground, the first thing again when we are recruiting is number one, of course, we know application. People are you can call and then doing your application. If you have now, please, we usually make a mistake. And if you observe very big schools very well, they do not, unless in some instances that is emergency, that is must be your emergency policy. When they are recruiting, they call for the public. They put it on the public. Why? One of the reasons why it is recommended like that is that so that you can give people leveraging points. So if I put it that I want to recruit, I want to have 2, 3, 4 persons coming in so that everybody can I can be able to have choices of picking. So if you observe big schools very well, you apply. But I've observed that some schools, what they do is this person is just working and let him go and do micro teaching. After micro teaching, it's good. Now, what you have done successfully done, while it may be good on the short term, but the long run is not LD. Quote and unquote now, is not an LD practice for an organization that want to build a system and a culture. So the first thing is application. Once you have application, from the application, you screen. Okay. The word screening is very simple. This is who we want in our organization. You have your policy on ground that talks about who we want. This person must be this, I must be this, I must be this, I must be this. Now, we are able to screen. You screen. Then after that, you have the interview stage. When you have now, the essence of your interview is to see whether the goal and the ambition of that person align. But some people usually ask this question: what if the person come to deceive me? That the person have mastered my vision, because these are questions school natural. The person have mastered my vision, my mission, my core values and everything, and be able to prepare his or her mind of any question when it is very possible. But on the long run, there are strategic questions you are going to ask, no matter how the person have prepared the mind. If the person is not a true person, you will know from there. But we're not going to that because of what we want to treat is much. Like I've said, it's supposed to be a 2 or 3 day lecture. Now, having said that, once the person has been thoroughly interviewed, the next thing is you are giving the person the job. That's the letter. Now, I've also observed from those that have most schools, let me say this is not common, but if about 50% of schools do not give letter of appointment. So there is no legal tender that says that you have employed that person. If by law anything happens, nobody will come to your rescue, because there is there must be formal documentation of whoever you are employing. If you have not started that, we need to start that. Formal documentation, apart from letter, the person is well documented in your database and the likes, and is well registered. So if you can, every school have their own policy of how they document whatever information of that person. So, but mostly you just see that the person start work the next day. No, sir, no, ma. It doesn't work that way. Proper documentation. Now, after documentation, we are still on that recruitment. The next thing is orientation. The person must have a proper orientation about your organization. Don't send them to class immediately. No, sir. Because when you are sending them to class, what you are doing is you have successfully employed a teacher, but you have not employed a leader or a workforce. There's a difference. A workforce is the person working towards your goal and targets and objectives. for a teacher, especially you have sent to the class to go and teach the children. Once he finishes teaching, any other thing is a plus. Now, having said that, the purpose of orientation and onboarding process is that you want to tell them they have to know all the policies, the school policies, the parent policies. Of course, you must have policy books. I usually ask school as this. There are about 32 policy books you must have, but time will not permit us. 32 policy books, and of course, they don't need to go through everything, but you must summarize it for them. Understand what that organization is all about. They must know the vision. In fact, I usually suggest this to school now. Let them have after a week, call them. What is the vision of this organization? In fact, there was a time I went to a school to start to train. The school owner was very shocked. What I did was very simple. I said, everybody, let's share a sheet of paper, and they tore a sheet of paper. I said, we are doing this in just 5 minutes. Everybody should write the vision, mission, core values, and the goals this organization is trying to achieve this year in a sheet of paper. I was shocked that out of 25 staff that I wanted to train that day, I found out that only one person knows all of these things. Is it that one I did not know? But some people know about 80% do not even know at all. I now told the school now, you are not running a school yet. It's the truth. Because if your workforce do not understand what you are trying to achieve, then nobody is going anywhere. All what you are doing work. Is work you are doing. It is not a system. You have created a work environment, not a systemic environment. So what are we saying in essence? You onboard them. In the process of onboarding, they understand clearly what the organization is all about, what type of parents you have, the type of student that you have. Give them a proper onboarding process. Then after onboarding, before they go in, of course, before then, of course, during your onboarding process, you talk about your compensation plan. You talk about your performance appraisal plan. All those parts of HR, they must know that every 2 weeks we appraise our staff here. And these are some of the metrics that we use. You might not reveal as you wish, depending on the peculiarity of your school. Then you tell them this is the compensation plan. Of course, when you discuss that compensation plan, so in the next 6 months, this is what we expect you to have done. If you have done this is what we are expecting it to be. I do that a lot. Even I have an evening school that I have teachers that teach there. January, when we started for this year, we started at a particular amount. I think we started about 3,000, 4,000 per day. And I told the teachers that if I'm able to see an improvement in this, by March, we will increase it by and this is what will make me to increase it. This. So if you are not producing, you don't even need to come to me. If I'm not seeing those things, you don't need to come to me, because we all agree and we signed it. So in that case, you must have a compensation plan and let it be flexible enough, and let them know. Most schools do not have a compensation plan. So if a staff doesn't know what is in for him, the person may not perform. So let them know all of this in doing your onboarding process. And then once they now start, of course, let them know. Let me also say this: make sure you know their information, such that you can ask one of the questions you can have in interview. What do you think you need? Your if you have vice principal, if you don't have, or whoever is managing us, even if it's you, this is where their work comes in. There is a particular school I went, and I was asking the vice principal there that, sir, what do you do within your office? Okay, I mark lesson. I said it's more than marking lesson. One of the things you need to do is to go to class. You must have an appraisal document. And then you go to a particular class where a teacher is teaching and tell them, okay, and watch. You don't say anything. Okay, there are metrics to measure a particular teacher in class and outside of class. So, but for academic purposes, if you are in academic, you are praising them academically. If you are in admin, if you have a VP admin, I mean that. Sorry, I think my I had a call that I entered. Please, can we hear me? Please, can we hear me? Am I there? Am I there? Am I there?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's good. Now, I was okay. Sorry for those what's it called? The break in transmission. Okay, I was saying something the other time. Now I was talking about getting feedback. Your workforce must get feedback. Your workforce must get feedback, and that is why you need to, so that you can manage their performance. Depending on you, you may say, okay, let's be having what's it called, weekly or monthly feedback. You can have a weekly feedback, a monthly feedback, can be a timely feedback. Now, while you do your own, I also usually recommend that you have external people that are coming in to also appraise your staff. Now, of course, you need to let your workforce know that you are not appraising them to denigrate them. That is not the intention. The intention is to discover if they are in line with the job description that has been given, with the goals and the objectives you are trying to achieve, and then for also their own goods. Now, over time, I've also find out from staff. I did a research. I usually give when I come for performance evaluation like that. I give a sum. One of the feedback I get from staff over time is that your staff always want to stay if they realize that apart from the money, which is very important, they are, yes, you are still under equipment. You are still under equipment. I'm just trying to see if they are trying to if they are trying to go, if for instance, if I'm working with you, I want to know my fit. I want to assess myself. If I'm a serious-minded person anyway, if I'm a serious-minded person, I want to evaluate myself as well. That am I growing in this organization? Between January and March, what has been my growth? Also, why they are also looking at that, you are also looking at what is the person contributing. So it must be a win-win. But I have observed that if your workforce find out that it's not a win-win, they are only contributing and something they are not going over time, they get relaxed. That is where the energy begin to drop. So it must be a win-win. So you want to ensure all of this in your recruitment processes. Now, let's move away from recruitment and now go to training and development. the essence of training and development is very simple: to refine, to revive, to reform, to renew, to re-educate, to re-energize your workforce. Now, the bone of contention as far as training is concerned is that school owner said, I will train this person and they will go, so I will not train at all. Now, that premise is not entirely true, because you have argued this before. While we do not agree, while we do not disagree that it is not true, it is very true. But if the premise is not entirely true, because if you want to assert something is true, you must look at it from different angles. Now, if you train a staff or a person and the person leaves, and that's why, like I've said, I was saying something, there must be a, I said the essence. I didn't define training. Training is just, you are trying to empower or equip the workforce so that they can still be in line, or you can direct them in line with your goal and objectives. You are empowering. Training is empowering, equipping your workforce so that they can still be in line with your goal and objectives, or you can redirect them back. Sometimes they might be going astray outside your goal and objective. The essence of training is not to bring them back. Now, having said that, I now establish that the point of argument for school owners has been very simple. And the point of argument is this: if I train a staff and the person will leave, while, and I said, this is very correct, but is not entirely correct. Because if that is your reasons why not training, although you might see it as good, but you are not helping organization on the long run. Because training should be a culture of an organization, not necessarily a compulsion. Now, your organization must have a culture of energizing, of growing its workforce. It must be one of your culture or one of your pillars in the organization, that whoever comes here must not live the same. If you have that mindset, you are good to go. Now, the question is, what if I now train them and all of them are running away and going? And we are still going to talk about performance management and that. And that is why, like I've said, it must be written. You must have that is where your documentation comes in. A person, and maybe most of us do not know, another thing I will encourage us, let's go and know human resources law in Nigeria. And another thing, education law. Now, you can actually, if you don't know, you can actually sue a person that is legally documented with you. If the person go without proper things that need to be done, there must be disengagement policy in one of the things they are going to sign. And in that disengagement policy, if I'm leaving in vogue now, that's where your human resources planning now comes in. You must plan ahead of time. You must be ahead always. Please pay critical attention to your human resources. So plan for it always. What if Mr. So leave? What if you must plan on time? So your planning is very important. Now, like I was saying about the documentation is important. So you have the right, if the person is legally documented with you and have passed through all the processes and everything, and the person leaves, you can sue the person. But people may not want to do that. Well, that maybe because of our culture. I'm talking about organization settings now. But in your policy, the person must have informed about 3 weeks, maybe your own is 3 weeks or 1 month or a term, that I will be leaving. So you can make necessary plan on it. Now, by making necessary plan, you have gotten person and you have started training the person. Now, again, the essence of training is that you can build leaders, so that if a person decides to leave now, you're already training a particular person to take over. That must be a culture. It must be a deliberate culture in your organization. That you do not lack leaders, you are training leaders. These are deliberate acts you must put in your workforce. Okay. Now, having said that, how do you train? Who do you train? When do you train? When do you train is a function of what you need per time. I usually tell school now, don't train because other schools are doing training. No. Train because you need it per time. For instance, if your project this year is to go technological, you want to integrate technology in the all aspects of, so your focal point of training for this year is technology, digital integration. So you now break it down. Digital integration in classes, digital integration outside classes, digital literacy for my teachers and the likes. You break the goals, the training down, so that they take one now, they take another now, they take another now. So depending on what you want to achieve or what is missing. For instance, if you observe that 80%, that's why you need to evaluate. I'm coming to that. If you observe that 80% of your workforce cannot manage their class, that means the training that is important at that point is class management. But if you are doing, if they lack digital skill and you are doing class management, it's a waste of time. And then on the logo, you not say you are training. No, sir, you are not training. Or let me say you are training amiss. So your training program must be robust. And then once you plan your human resources, and once you have your goals and objectives, another thing you must plan is training. Your training in the next 5 years. Because if you are trying to achieve a particular thing per time, you must train the people that want to achieve it, because it's not only you that will achieve it. If you are trying to see that your school, maybe one of your projects or one of your goals is that your enrollment should increase by 80%, you must train your staff or whoever is working with you on enrollment, so that while you are achieving it, they are also pursuing it and achieving it. And that is why compensation plan also comes in. We are still going to that. So if I'm your staff, and then one of our goals this year is that from 100, we want to become 400. And then we must undergo training on enrollment. How do we increase enrollment? Now, the essence is that it is not only you that needs that training. Because if it is only you that you are carrying everything, on the long run, you cannot go as fast as if everybody is involved. So you need people. Another part of training is that so that you can build a team. Now, I have observed over time that schools have staff, not teams. I mentioned two assertions now. Schools have teachers, not leaders. Schools have staff, not teams. And when you have staff and not a team, you cannot grow. It is teamwork that makes dream work. Whatever you want to achieve, whatever dream that you have, it is the teamwork that makes the dream work. Now, so that means that one of the essence of training is for you to build a team over time. Now, having said that, the question is, what if they go? Now, whether they go or not, like I've said, your documentation is around. Everybody knows the policy in that place. Before you leave, there must be disengagement method. They understand and they are signing that agreement. And they know the repercussion. So you have, before they enter, you have already settled that already. So nobody will have the mind that I can just leave anyhow. If it is in your school, everybody is leaving anyhow, that's a problem. So your documentation, you will go back to your documentation and get it right. So that if I'm coming to your organization, I understand clearly that if I am leaving your organization, I must do the necessary thing. This is the agreement plan must be there. Then, of course, staff policy you must have. What is expected of a staff, how you should behave and everything. We are coming to that. Now, having said that, we are training. If you say we are training, what if the person now leaves? On the long run, you win some, you lose some. But if whatever systems that we are putting in place now, you can implement it, you will win about 80% and lose about 20%. That doesn't mean people will not go. Because one of the questions you need to ask again is the career progression of whoever you are employing. Some persons do not want to stay. They don't want to be in the education space for 1 year. And you are employing that kind of person, the person will go. The person will go. So your interview stage is extremely important because you need to find out where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What career progression? Some persons are just coming, they want to reach that place as a ladder. Just 6 months, they want to go into tech in the first instance. So they want to use your words. Go on the long run. If you are getting somebody that want to go in tech in 1 year, you just work for you 6 months. After this 6 months, some of them may decide to start misbehaving so they can send them away. Staff do that. Some people definitely, or some of them will say, okay, after I will just try. You need people. Your 80% of your workforce must be willing to stay for a long time. I'm still coming to what will make them stay. I hope I can make, because the work is much, the lecture is much. Now, having said that, what if you train them? What if they go? Like I've said, you win some, you lose some. Now, by training them, what you have successfully done, you have impacted in a particular life. That person will never forget you for life. And if you have built a good relationship, they can be the one to recommend. In fact, one of the things I've done, that I use test school now, build good relationship with your staff such that they can recommend. You know, people know people. For instance, if you have done well with me, or if I've done well with you, and I've decided to leave, you can say, can you, I do it a lot. Even at my evening school there, evening class there. If somebody say, I don't think, maybe the person is located, I don't think I can be with you again. Can you recommend 2 or 3 persons? I will now work on them. I'll call for them and do the normal processes. By their recommendation, you might get somebody better than normal recruitment process. Why? Because they know themselves. For instance, if you ask me, I studied chemistry. If you ask me, apart from me, who can I recommend? As of now, I can only recommend 3. So I know those I can recommend. So everybody knows. So having said that, the next thing is performance management. Now, you must be, I don't know if you can finish it, but if you cannot finish, I'll just stop. I intend to stop around 6:30, so you can ask questions. If I cannot finish it, I will complete it because because I know there will be a lot of questions. The next thing is performance management. We must learn to manage our staff performance, and to manage performance is important. And one of the things we must do, like I've said, is job description. You cannot manage something you don't know. So let them know what they are coming to do. They are clear about all roles they need to play in that place. The next thing is evaluation and feedback. The next thing is evaluation and feedbacks. To manage them very well, you must evaluate them and give them feedback. But when the workforce know that they are going to be evaluated, they are going to get feedback, they put in more effort. And then when they know the compensation plan, they know what is at stake. They put 2 things I've observed. When the right process brought them in. Number 1.
Hello, Mr. Odusanya. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is 6:35 already. You have spent more than 1 hour, and we quickly like to go into the question and answer right now.
Okay.
Yes, you go to question and answer because you have spent 1 hour 10 minutes. So I really jotted a lot of things down concerning these human resources. It's like I'm hearing it afresh, and in the course of the session, I have written some things that I'm going to do against. Even if I don't do it in this session again, I'm going to do them in the new session because I found out that there are the answers to some of the things that I have in mind. So, Mrs. Amodu, Mrs. Victoria, Mrs. Star Grace, Mrs. Agu, can you come up with any question you have right now? Let's come up with any question that we have right now. Yesterday, we were trying to look at struggling with population. You know, one of us said that she's struggling with population, and should good staff leave the school in terms of salary? That was what I wrote down. When Mr. Favor said, if a good staff wanted to leave, that you could add to the staff salary.
Excellent evening. Thank you very much, sir.
I had my own observation. So let's hear the view of Mr. Odusoya. I don't do it. If a staff is going, I cannot call you to increase your salary, because I know it's going to affect all the other staff. I don't know. He said we can say it openly. You know, I have been doing this business for 11 years, so I know what is obtainable, apart from the fact that I know Mr. Favor is also a school owner anyway. So he said that sometimes he does a bonus and a reward, and he indirectly make reference to it during the meeting so that everybody will know. Because the problem about the staff is that if you give one person something, that person will go and tell the others, and it can cause trouble, and it has caused trouble for me in the past. So what is your view, Mr. Odusoya? Why we are waiting for any of us to come up with our question? Thank you.
Okay. Okay, what a lovely question. I've had people ask this question as well. Now, let me say this, because I have once been a teacher, and I know how good I am as a person. Now, sometimes some of the strategies, I'm coming from a teacher point of view now, before I go to the management point of view. Some of the strategies teachers use is that if they know they are very good and they're doing a good work for you, and then they know that they want to increase. One of the times, at least I've seen 3 persons do it right in my phone before. They will say, I'm going. The essence is that so that you can call them to increase their money. Is it money? And the likes. Now, this is what I will say to that. While what Mr. Favor said is your ability to negotiate people living. That's the platform he is trying to come from. That if this person is good and then the person wants to leave, can you come at a level ground and negotiate something out of it so that the person does not eventually leave? While it will be good, but on the long run, it may not be sustainable. You only do that in extra cases where peradventure you do not have, and that is why planning, like I was saying, the planning is very important. Maybe you do not have an immediate replacement, or the person is the one major person driving the growth of that school. In that case, you might not be left with any option than to come to the round table. But if your planning has been so good, because like I've said, it's not sustainable. Because if you do for this person, and then again, let me say this. There was a time I was working in a particular school now, and I told us that part of your policy is some people use open reward policy, some people use open compensation plan policy. But I feel, this is my own thought now, I feel that your compensation plan should not be public. Should be between you. I've advised school owners with this a lot, and those that have done it. None of your staff should know, must not know what the piece is. It must be part of what they're going to sign. Professionalism demands that if I'm in a particular organization and the organization say, do not reveal your money, I should maintain that. Anybody that breaches that, go immediately. So if you have a policy in place that addresses that, anybody is not revealing their their salary. So that means you are operating, or your human resource department is operating at individual level. However, that doesn't mean you should not have a compensation plan. Now, if I were the person, now I will let if the person, and that's why I said the right process is very important. If you don't get the processes right, all these things will keep on happening. If before the person came to the person understood our compensation plan, that after 6 months, if you're able to do this and this, 200 naira will be on top of your money. If you're able to fulfill your job decision, now, if I say it's 1 year and you are coming to me 6 months, you won't even want to come because there's a plan on ground. I don't know if you get me. If there's a plan on ground that after 6 months, this is how your compensation will look like. If you have fulfilled these obligations, then after 1 year, maybe after 10 years, you'll be collecting 1 million. After 5 years, you'll be collecting 500,000, something like that. I do not think people will be doing. So we must get that process right. But since we don't have it yet, which I think by now we'll start to have it after now. But in the case where we do not have it yet, like that case I mentioned yesterday, now 2 ways. If I can have this is where wisdom coming. I can have a persuading with that person and say, if you are leaving, and then maybe I don't have a replacement. If I have a replacement, the person may leave. Quite right. If I'm able to prepare myself well. But let's say all the process I've mentioned so far, the person I've not done it, so there's no preparation on ground. The best method that wisdom requires is that I come into negotiation table with that person. And I say, okay, if we are going to get this, maybe you want to have 20,000 increase in your salary. Can you add this to this or this? Now we arrive at a particular point at that instance. And then with also a what's it called? A recommendation that if after 2 months you are not fulfilling what you're supposed to fulfill, I will send you away. Or I say that this person that you're coming, you are collecting this. One of the things that will be there is that nobody knows about this. Once you know, you leave immediately. Now, depending on my capacity again, my financial capacity, but if the person is driving a lot of things in my school, I may have to bear that loss for that time so that I do not lose a particular person that will affect my organization. Wisdom allows for that. So, in essence, let it be, if you are going to go in a negotiation table with a particular teacher, let it be temporary, not a continuous thing, because it is not sustainable over time. So, but if you are getting the process right, we won't have to be at that situation. I think that's my submission.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Mrs. Amodu, Mrs. Agu, Mrs. Victoria Olajide, and Mrs. Mera. Any question, please? Yes. Good evening, ma'am.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, sir. That was really an insightful time and lesson. While you were talking, I actually did some work and I had to prepare some teachers' booklet, job description. I noticed some of the things I was lagging behind and I started putting it together. Then there's something that you said that actually struck me, which I have to go back to the drawing board. You said, if we employ people that are just going to give us 6 months of our time, then we are employing wrong. That's in my own term. I'm just trying to give of what I've picked. I think that's the issue with me, and it's mostly because of I would say because of my environment. Now, partly the tension that I mentioned earlier. After it happens, maybe the second time I had to do a review to know what was the issue. And the first one I realized was that she just came to get money for a skill kind of graduation. And other people came to just get money to establish their business. Now, Ma, you mentioned something. You said you don't increase salary for teachers that would leave. I have 2 experiences from 2 sideways, and I'm going to be very quick about it. My secretary tendered her resignation last section, and when I asked her why, she said she wanted an increase. So I called her and we had a discussion. After we negotiated, we agreed. She's still with me. Now, the second experience is another teacher came to me and said her husband wants her to start a business. And I was like, that's a good one. We can actually work with you. since it's a product that you can sell in school, talk to the storekeeper. You will be doing that while you're working. Then, since he's complaining about your children, you can bring them in. We brought in the school fees, and I don't even want to mention how much discount I gave this lady. Despite that, her husband refused, and she has just opened her store. So you can see that this thing, I think there's no formula to it. It's really confusing. I remember I was in the office with someone when he heard the discount I gave her because I wanted to retain her. He was like, "Are you sure you know what you're doing?" All because I noticed she was efficient and she has passion. I love her energy, but it still did not keep her. So what did I do wrong? I know some things are beyond our control, especially if you're a married woman. You can't keep a married woman because she has to choose between her marriage and her job. But this is a professional. She's well trained. She has worked in as a teacher. In short, she's just, even till now, I was surprised when a parent came into my office recently and she told the parent that she would always want to come and work with us because she knows what she has gained. But because her marriage is on the line, she has to leave. I actually brought up a document that would, get to a point where I have to sue her. But just like the coach said, because of our call, sometimes if you think about it, when you sue, at the end of the day, it's you that will still spend the money, the people, the emotions that will be involved. So it's really a lot. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Modu. Yeah, I want you to also note that some of the things that Mr. Odusoya said today, some of them are what I know, but I've not been practicing. And I as he was talking, I was trying to put one or two things down that I am going to do the right thing so that I will be able to also have staff retention and good human resources department in the school. I studied some of the schools that I worked with, international schools, and how some of my friends are still there 30 years in the school, 30 years working in the school. I met one of my friends, 32 years working in that school. All these things that he said was what they are doing in the school. Trinity International College of Father, it's an international school. So I want us all to also look at our school as an international school and start doing the right thing according to what he said. I said, some of the things that he said are something that I have learned, that's something that I have known for long, but I've not been practicing them. But because of this afternoon, I quickly look at my 5-year dashboard, and I found out that I need to put this thing. I was just putting it like 5 things we are going to put together with the staff while I'm meeting them on Wednesday for open house feedback. So I want you to have an open mind, ma'am, that at the end of this conference, some of the things that I've not been doing before, I'm going to do them more. I'm going to practice them more and see the result that will come out in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Am I saying something, ma'am?
Ms. Amodu,
yes, sir.
I think
yes,
I had wanted to. Okay, you were the one that said we will work together, something like that. I think we.
Yes, sir.
Were you
yes,
the one? Okay,
yes,
so because I'll give you my number. We can talk. But on what you said,
okay.
I wanted to get something. Is it that you are still thinking of maybe you still have some issues or not? I wanted to get is it a question or a compliment?
Staff. Hello, sir. She still has issue with staff, and that's one of the things that made us. So staff retention, because in that environment, a lot of people I think there are companies in that environment. And apart from that, she was talking about women, married women, how even some people that are married, especially married women, are not allegedly say that they have their own power to stay in a work or not. So I think that is that she was trying to say.
Before I know we are still going to talk about in my second session later on during the conference, I will not talk about compensation plan and the likes. Now, before
bill so that you can have enough time to prepare for that. I was looking at the compensation plan. So some of the things that he said, one of the things that he said concerning maybe 6 months, 3 months, I know that it's not visible for school owners to increase 6 months or 3 months. What is visible is a year, annual increment. That one is visible. And for me, calling a staff behind and give more is not visible for me. You know, the things that are visible for some that are not visible for others. So it's not visible for me to call a staff. And that is why some of the things that Emma just said, I'm going to work on them so that when I have processes, before some staff will leave, I have another staff. There's a school in my area. The school has been operating for like 9, close to 10 years now. This school normally, send the teacher away after a year, after every session. And do you know what? The school also recruits staff. So they always recruit staff, and they have been doing very well. Some people said that the school will close down. They were saying negative things about the school. I did not join them to say negative things because this school has a consultant, and the consultant will recruit for them every time. So their own vacancy does not stop, though it's not in front of their school, but they do it online and so on and so forth. So they recruit all the time. And at the end of the day, this man send the teachers away. Some teachers, not all, away at the end of compulsorily at the end of the session and employ another teacher. And there's some people say that the school will go down. Well, I don't support it, but the school has not gone down. The school is even increasing. So, do we have any other person that want to talk, that want to say something?
Yes, ma.
Yes, I saw your chat about how you said, Emerald, I hope you are still around. Emerald, please come up. I saw your chat about how your school, how you are doing everything alone. I think, Mrs. Victoria, is that what you want to say, or you want to add to it?
Yes, ma, I want to add to it because I had an experience 2 times ago, ma. So okay, two teachers worked with me 2 times ago, but I employed them at different times. So the first one, that the married one, was the one that I interviewed at first. And when it came to the point of salary, what I agreed with her, even though she said it was small, but then I looked at the strength of the school. I just told her that we will not be able to pay more than that. Eventually, she agreed and started working with us. Then I got another one that was a young lady who it was the father that brought her, and the salary we agreed, with, happened to be higher than the one that is married. So, but I told the lady, because at in the process of time, I found out that the lady was doing more than the married woman. In fact, she was taking more classes then than the married woman was doing. So the salary we agreed with her, because of the responsibility in our family, because the father told me about that, was like 5,000 naira above that of the married woman, which I now told her that it must not be exposed to the married woman, because that her own was not as much as the young lady's own. So in the process of time, I discovered that the mother of this young lady was the one that now, opened up everything to the married woman that was teaching with me, and that spoiled the whole show. The 2 of them eventually left. That was one. Then secondly, the young lady's mother also had 2 children in the school, and she was owing 2 times school fees, of which at the end of the day, she now pleaded with the lady, which was also her daughter, that she should please allow her to use the last salary of that particular term to offset the bill she was having with the school, with our school. Although that money was not enough to offset the bill, but then it could do part. So, and I called the lady and asked her that she was, okay with that arrangement. She said there is no problem. As long as she will still continue to work and she will still be earning, other salaries, there is no problem. Not knowing that there was a problem, she was hurt at that decision. By that decision. At the end of the day, she didn't resume with us. I chatted her up, I did everything. She refused to come. Later, somebody else now came to let me know that two things that I did that hurt her feelings and discouraged her from coming was, one, I used her salary, the last salary, to offset the bill of her siblings, the two brothers she was having in our school. And then secondly, what was the second? She made it okay. That secondly, that I've forgotten her second reason, but she pointed out two reasons why she would not want to continue to. Then her fear of the remaining balance that her brothers were owing. Maybe I will still be removing it from her salary if she continued to work with me, which I said I will not do that, but she didn't believe.
Okay, ma, because of our time.
Okay, ma.
Your case is a very special case, ma. I will talk with, I will speak with, discuss with Emerald and some other persons. We are going to meet you specially. You understand? Because number one, you are the only one in the school right now. And all those things that you were saying about the teachers and all that, I have passed through some of those things. And I want to tell you that the best thing for us is to do the thing right. If we really want to do this business, it's either we do it right or we are not doing it right. And if you do it right, we are going to enjoy the benefits. All those things, equipment, all those processes, that is what our school is 11 years. By God's grace, our 12th session is going to be different. And all the things that I have learned before and some of the things that I want to add to it, to really practicalize the things that we have planned. I'm going to meet my management staff on Wednesday, and then we will talk about how we are going to chart our course differently, because we want to pass through all the different levels of equipment. And like all these use money to do this one, we are not doing business. We are just doing charity. We are just doing family business, And I want to encourage you that you are going to start all over again and your school will grow. Okay, thank you so much. We have not really answered your question, but I want to assure you that you are going to get answers to your question, because there's no time now. So you are going to get answer. You are going to start your school all over again. Let me just tell you that you are going to start your school all over again. I thank God for attending this conference. Everything is working together for your good. So you are going to start your school all over again. Let me tell you, I am going to start my school all over again. That is it. I am going to start my school all over again, because I want you. I want my school. I'm not competing, but I'm looking towards. I'm looking up to all those 7-star schools. There is profit in this school business. I have been making profit already in 6 figures. I've been making profit in 7 figures. Let me just tell you that in the school business, I've been making profit in 7 figures, and I've made up my mind. I'm even doing other businesses. I was telling Emma this morning, a scammer scammed me on Friday in my other business, but because of that, I didn't want to attend this program because I was a little bit down. But of course, I have to come up, I have to show up, because some of you are also waiting to see me in the program. So we are going to come back to your question again. Your school will try, because you are starting all over again. Mrs. Bumi Agu and Mrs. Miriam, can we hear something from you before we call it a day? And of course, Mrs. Amudu, of course, we are coming back to you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, this is wonderful. I've never experienced such a thing before throughout my life and all the time I've spent in the school. I've really been impacted. Thank you so much. But please, sir, I would like to have Mr. Odukoya's number. because most of the questions in my heart that I've been carrying about over the years, I've been looking for who will answer this question. He has answered some of them, but not all the questions, at least 80% of these questions. So I don't know if I can have his number after this.
Yes. When I'm sending the link, I will send his number to you. Okay. Mrs. Miriam, can we have something from you?
Okay, good evening, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Even though I joined late, but it has been an interesting one. I want to say thank you so much. There's so much going on here. I'm really grateful and okay, my question is, I don't really have much question anyway, but I want to ask some of these policies, school policies that have been mentioned, please, how can we get them? I know some of them have to be in accordance with our school mission, vision statement, but I want to believe that there are some that we can get and work on based on our vision. Then secondly, I want to also add that this issue of telling teachers, don't tell your salary. I think we should not do that as school owners. It's not easy not to do that, but I think it also puts us in lots of trouble. I tried that one time and it was not funny at all. I made up my mind. What we agreed, there's the structure, yes, but there are people that are really good, and because you want to keep them, you can say, okay, I'm going to add a little thing to your money. But that thing of telling a teacher, don't tell your colleague, does not work. They must tell, they must get along one day and they say it to themselves. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think we are spending more time today. 7:30. No, we came late anyway. I think I came around 5:10. So the issue of teachers talking about their salary will also be resolved when this method comes up on Thursday again. And that is why, if you have any question concerning, because I think school owners are having, with my understanding of what I had in the past and what I am having right now, I think school owners need a lot concerning this human resources. And of course, we are going to still come up again with a greater version of this human resources. So, by Thursday, God willing, today is Monday. I think Mr. Joshua is coming up again on Thursday or Wednesday or thereabout. So when he does part 2, I want you to send any question that you have in mind, send them to me so that I can forward them to him, so that he can include some of the solutions that we need in this presentation. I think that one will be fine. Isn't it? So then Mr. Dufaya can also send, I will send his number to Mr. Amudu and Mr. Agu. And Mrs. Victoria, so I said that your case is very peculiar and we are going to look at it. Not easy for somebody to be in the school. I know that many of the school owners are also elderly people, like in their 40s, in their 50s, and so on. I have made up my mind before I clock 50, I'm going to retire. I've been working full time in the school, and it has happened immediately. We clocked 10. I started working from home. I've been working. That's why I'm able to do like 5 businesses more. Because I found out that the school needs more money. The school needs more money. The school, we are trying to go digital. We are having. I'm not even prepared to buy a laptop. They will not buy. So the school is buying laptop for each child. That is one of so we are our needs now to make sure that all our teachers are digitally compliant. So that's our need now, according to this today's session. So I'm buying laptop for all the kids. Imagine, and I'm buying for 5 for them. Buying for 5 for them. So what I'm saying in terms of reality is that apart from business, that is a stake that you have to build your school level, that you don't need to struggle again, that you don't need to stress yourself again. I can understand Mrs. Victoria. I know what passing through presently because I have been in that shoes before, where I will have to be a nanny. The nanny is not around because we did not pass through all the processes that Emma Concept just said. We knew, I knew, because I work with international schools. I work with several national college. My husband works in the Waterman, and you know these are big schools. So I have idea of everything that are supposed to have, but we're not practicing some of those things because, you know, but now we want to practice and practice more. And because this experience, apart from the fact that I'm a co-host, the experience that I'm having here is giving me an inkling that I have to do something differently. So the same thing happens. And I know that all of us here, especially those of us that continue to attend this program, some people pay, but look at, they are not attending, you know. So it means that it's not even free things that people don't attend. Some people pay, they paid for this event and they're not attending. For one thing or the other that is best known to them. But you are attending, so we move forward. So by God's grace, we're going to meet tomorrow again. By God's grace. If you can bring in Pastor that tomorrow, I'm very happy because it's going to be fire. We'll work together and see how, you know, somebody's already, there's another turn or someone tomorrow, but I will try and myself with Mr. Otaya to make sure that Pastor also comes in. He is on human resources also and law that guides teaching. And for the policy, I'm going to work with Mr. Odukaya to make sure some of the policies are gotten by all the participants. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a wonderful night, friend. See you tomorrow. Please don't let me.
I'll tell them.
Don't let me remind you tomorrow before you join. Thank you so much. Have a blessed night, friend. Bye for now.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.